good day. Hello, hello. I'm so excited to be here. It's day 4 of our week of Let's Make a Quilt, and we're going to quilt it. So we are almost ready to get this done. So I am really excited. So what we did day 1 is we went ahead and we cut. I taught you guys how to cut out all the fabric. Day 2, we pieced together our squares and we put it into rows. So this is a half square triangle quilt. And we got our top done. Day 3, which was yesterday, we actually layered the quilt, and I showed you how to do that on a piece of plywood. That's just kind of what I do, and I showed you the technique with safety pinning it. But then I also, this morning, I did a quick live to show you that you can also spray baste your quilt too. So we actually spray basted it, we did some safety pinning, and now we're going to actually machine quilt the quilt. So, hello everybody. If you can share the video today, what we are giving away today, since we're quilting, are just some really fun quilting templates. So there's some like this, and there's some like this, and you can just daydream about them, and we can talk about different quilting templates later. They're fun to play with. Say you're working on a hot pad and you want to experiment with some things. So if you want to share the videos or whatever you can, and I've got lots of quilting templates to ship out, and we'll have everybody win today. So how does everybody quilt their quilts? Do you typically send your quilt to a long armer? So are you a long armer? I happen to have a long arm quilting machine, so I've been long arming mine since like 2009 or so. But before that, all the way from the 1990s and on, I used my domestic machine. And for small projects, I will use my domestic machine for quilting. So what about you guys? How do you guys kind of do your quilts or whatever? So let me know in the comments. But I wanted to go ahead and show you a couple things. This is the foot that I typically use when I am quilting and piecing together a quilt top. With this foot, it's a 1/4 inch foot. You don't have to have that because remember we also put the painter's tape on the machine or washi tape, and you can match your seam if you're just brand new to quilting. Now, what did I do with that? Oh, right here. But when you're machine quilting a quilt, you can actually use a walking foot. So this is a walking foot for a Singer sewing machine. I have another walking foot that I've already installed onto my sewing machine right here. And but what the walking foot does is there's this little arm right here that actually will connect to a dial over here on the right hand side of your needle, okay? And then this part of the walking foot right here is your shank that's going to connect to the shank of your sewing machine. And so I'll show you that. So normally when I take my feet off and on, this part of the shank of the foot is actually connected to, what do you call it? The thing that's coming down, the rod that's coming down the sewing machine. The leg, thank you. Vanessa's here, she's helping me. She's my right hand person. Anyway, so this is, I removed this piece off. Normally this piece would just connect to my feet, but when I put the walking foot on, I actually take this piece off of my sewing machine, because this is normally how I would connect my foot onto my sewing machine. But I take off the shank and I put on the walking foot as the shank. So, and let me just show you that. That's not closing as well right now. So this little black thing right there is where I go ahead and I hook the sewing machine onto, I hook this onto the shank of the sewing machine, and then this goes on a little arm up high. So when you are using this walking foot, you have actually, I wish I had like a thing, but there's actually feet in your bottom. There is, what do you call it? Why can't I think of words right now? There's the feet, I can't think of that word.
Dogs.
The feed dogs, feed dogs, thank you. There's these feed dogs that are kind of, hi Robin. There's some feed dogs that come up under your sewing machine foot that are feeding the fabric through your sewing machine. What's nice about a walking foot is not only are your feed dogs kind of coming up and feeding the bottom fabric through it, but your walking foot will help feed the top fabric through your sewing machine too, if that makes sense. So that's the benefit of a walking foot. When I was younger, I didn't have money. I mean, walking foot is not that expensive. It's maybe $20. This is an inexpensive Singer one for the heavy duty Singer sewing machine I have. But so it's, you know, it's not that expensive. It depends on what brand of sewing machine you have. But you can look into acquiring a walking foot. It's also helpful with other things, maybe if you're working with leather or denim or who knows what. Now, we're also going to change the needle in the sewing machine, and we're absolutely going to put in a fresh needle into the sewing machine. Hey, Lorraine. Hey, Gabriel. Gabriella, Lisa. It's so fun to see you guys all today. I tried to go earlier today, and this is what I'm going to try to do all the time, is go about this time. But you absolutely want to change your needle in your sewing machine before you quilt a quilt. And the reason why you want to do that is your sewing machine, after you've been piecing together a top, the needle is kind of dull. It's been worn out, and you want a nice sharp needle that's going to go down into the quilt, you know, exchange the thread, and then move on. So if you have, there are actually quilting needles, but if you don't have a quilting needle, oh, we've got a fun new quilter that's 11 years old, so this is awesome to learn. But if you don't have a quilting needle, a denim needle is the same type of needle as a quilting needle. So if you've got a denim or jeans needle, that really is the same type of needle as a quilting needle. If you actually look at the, you know, how everything's described down there on the needles. The size and the length and the eye hole and the sharpness and everything like that. So what you want to do is one of my favorite needles is a denim jeans needle, and I really try to keep several packs of these in my house at all times. We should put these up for sale on the website, Vanessa, or different needles or whatever. We'll have to put some up for sale for you guys. But I really like to have denim needles, a lot of them. And so if you're ever in a fix, a denim needle works. Really, a universal needle will work just fine too. Now, we've got our quilt here. I have this spray basted because I didn't want you guys to have too much bulk while we're going through the sewing machine. Now, we need to make a quilting plan. So before you start quilting your quilt, you want a quilting plan. So on this quilt, what we're actually going to do is quilt down where we're going to stitch in the ditch along these diagonal lines of where we were piecing this. I'm not going to quilt where the perpendicular lines are. We're going to quilt down on these diagonal lines, and we're going to quilt about 2 inches apart because I don't want you guys to be too overwhelmed with that. Hey, by the way, let me know where you guys are and what you're doing. So I'm going to show you another nifty little tool that usually comes with your sewing machine. But hold on. I got distracted and I didn't grab it out. I have this really cool little container. I bought it from a quilt store in Temecula, California. They actually sell them online. Oh, I hope I can find this tool. Oh, you know what? I think I know where it is. I love antiques. I don't know about you guys, but I really love antiques. I love collecting sewing antiques. Okay, hold on. I'll show you another antique that I use. Okay, I have this set of drawers right here. It's little wooden drawers. It's not like super antique-y, but it's more antique. And I put all my sewing machine feet in there because doggone it, those sewing machine those feet cost money, don't they? Okay, so I actually have this tool in here. So this is a tool that probably you have for your sewing machine. You might not be aware of what this tool is for. So I'm gonna show you what this is for. All right, it's always fun to learn about the features. Or does anybody know what this tool is for? You probably have it maybe in your sewing machine collection. But what you use this for, hold on, let me see. I wonder if I cannot connect this up because Oh, that's a bummer. I don't have my regular walking foot on. My regular foot. I've replaced it with my walking foot. Let me see if that still has a little thing right there. What you usually do with this is you put it in this little back portion of your foot, and then whoops, I have this in backwards. It goes this way, or whichever side. But you use this to go along and measure your amount of space that you're going to be from each, because we're going to do these straight lines that are about 2 inches apart on your quilt, and that's what you can use this for. But that is interesting that but maybe there's a little spot right in the back of the walking foot. I actually have more than one walking foot for the sewing machine. So maybe I don't have the right one on here. I don't know. Let's see. Okay, so I wonder if it can go right back there. Okay, so it can go right, it goes right, let me turn this around. Okay, let's look at the sewing machine this way. So you can see it just slides into the back of the walking foot right there. Can you guys see that? Kind of. And then this sewing machine, then I can measure this so it's at 2 inches difference from either, and you can do it from either side of your foot, depending on what you're more comfortable with. Oh, hi, Dee Dee. How are you? We've got a package ready to ship to you, huh, yep, Vanessa? It's gonna be out today. Yep. Your package is going out today. It's already postaged and everything. So anyway, so just so you know, we had 2 people, one from Canada, right, Vanessa? And then Dee Dee actually won from Australia, Southern Australia. Yep, it was really fun yesterday. We had lots of winners from different countries. So don't worry, if you're from a different country, still share the video because you're definitely eligible to win. And then put shared below. So anyways, and today everybody's going to win different quilting templates. And I've got some really good news next week where someone is going to win a Cricut Easy Press. Okay, you guys, is that just not the coolest thing in the whole wide world? So someone will win a Cricut Easy Press next week in my live videos. We'll do it on Friday, but I'll have you guys share the live videos the whole week, and because I can't wait to show you what we're working on next week. Anyways, okay, so, but nevertheless, I won't get distracted. But that's what this is for. So we're going to use that to help measure how we are quilting this along. All right, so I'm going to put the sewing machine right here. I think everyone can see this quilting machine in the camera. And then quilters typically start quilting from the center of the quilt. So I guess what I can do is actually take this one point. We've got the diagonal coming at a 45-degree angle right here, and I will start quilting right here. I used a spray basting for this, and I don't have any pins in it, but a lot of people will use actually the spray basting and the safety pins, so whatever you feel like doing. And you guys, let me know if the video becomes out of focus. I guess the iPhone 10 is having a problem with staying in focus. Is that not the weirdest thing? So I was reading about it last night, and I'm going to try to just make sure the video doesn't last forever. I mean, that we're not extremely long on it. You know what? This might really vibrate this table. I might need to shake the cameras. Okay, the other thing that I've done is I've increased my stitch length. So I'm actually going with a stitch length that's maybe a 5. You can go with a stitch length that's a 6. Whatever you feel comfortable with, but you do not need to do a super tight stitch length, all right? So now, I didn't have a walking foot for forever, remember? So as you can see, this is really pushing the fabric through from the top with this walking foot and from the bottom. So I'm getting the feed dogs working on the bottom, and I'm getting the feed dogs working on the top. So it's more smoothly pushing that through. But what I used to do is just really hold it like this and feed it through myself and just bring that through. So if you don't have a walking foot, don't let that stop you from quilting your quilt. Also, it's very modern right now to actually have just quilts that are, you know, in a straight line or anything like that. Right now, what I'm doing, and that's all we're going to do on this quilt, are straight lines, but that's very, very modern to do. So what I'm doing right now is I'm actually rolling up the quilt in a little bit of a tube so that I can fit it in this arm space of the quilting machine right here. And I will do the same with this side. And I don't really have to do the same with this side, but I have cameras sitting over here and I don't want it to block the cameras. So I'm actually going to roll it on both sides. You can lay it out, whatever you want to do. Okay, so I'm going to take these two rolled sides and I'm going to just feed it through. And it's got a nice good feed to it. The sewing machine, the needle is working really well. I don't hear it pounding excessively hard. And we're going to just bring it down along this seam. And I'm going along, okay, let's go ahead and show this. Oh, let's talk thread. So here's what I've quilted so far on this quilt. I'm using, since my backing is actually a yellow, any of you guys, let me know what you guys do with thread and everything when you're quilting. I'm just really curious. But when I long arm, I don't ever do a different thread from back to bottom, from top to bottom, the top thread and the bobbin thread. What about you guys? When you guys get your quilts long armed, or if you guys do domestic quilting, I did used to change my thread color some when I was younger and I was long arming and free motion quilting, but it's really smart to keep your same thread color. So you can see back here is the stitching that I just did, and it looks really nice, consistent and even, which is fine. So the front, you can see how that yellow looks just great on the front. So sometimes when I'm picking my backing fabric, I pick it in keeping in mind of what my top thread, I kind of desire that top thread to be. So for example, had I picked out a red backing fabric, do I really want red on every single line of this quilt? I don't know about that. So that's just kind of a different thing. Oh yes, definitely if your needle is breaking, someone said that it breaks and jams, so try the denim needle for sure. Absolutely. I can't live without my denim needles. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and keep quilting here. And then I'm going to show you, let me get my foot on the gas. And I'm going to push in that little bar. We're not using it because we're doing our first line all the way down. Are the cameras shaking too much on this table from the vibration of the sewing machine? I don't know if you guys feel that, if you can feel like it's too shaky or anything. So I just kind of push this through. It's a little awkward, but you know, you can just watch a good movie. You can turn on a book, an online book. You can have your children playing right where you're at and just be working on this, you know, somewhere. I always had, as my children were growing up, I always had my sewing room as part of their area where they played. And that way I could supervise them and still quilt and be kind of consumed in being healthy, you know, and not just right on top of them. So anyways, it was just, okay, good. So there's no shaking. All right, good. So what we're doing today is we're actually quilting a quilt, and I'm pushing it through my domestic machine. So you can see it's not that much work. It's really just fine. And I'm going to finish this today because tomorrow, so let me pull that down so you can see this working. I'm actually not using this tool right now. I can take that out so you can see the walking foot a little bit better. But I'll tell you what, I would just shove it through my sewing machine. And if you don't have the walking foot, you just have to be a little bit more responsible about pushing this through. I might take off that Apple Watch so it's not so distracting. Okay, here we go. So you can see that's just pushing through, and it's going, and I'm almost to the end. So that is, let's see, Vanessa, if we thought about this, Okay, does anybody understand their math? You know what I love thinking about? Our domestic machines are not good. We have the Singer only, and not all of them compact with our electric network. To do this type of work only with the industrial machine. Yeah, I agree. It isn't as ideal to quilt on your domestic machine, but I'll tell you what, there's a lot of people that do it. And it's what I exclusively did. I just couldn't justify somebody paying the cost of long arming it. I don't know, but I was so economical that I forced myself to learn it. So I do have a long arm machine, and I typically long arm. Now, we don't have to backstitch the front or the back of these lines because we're going to cross back over it with our binding thread. So don't worry about backstitching. So I've got this now to the end. I don't know, that took me how long? I'm talking while I'm doing it, so it definitely took longer than usual. Okay, I'm going to pull this quilt back through here, and I'm going to roll it now so that it is just a little bit over, and you can do it either way. I'm going to actually roll it so I have less in this area to my right. Okay, and I want to find my little tool that comes with your sewing machine that you don't use very often, but this is a great time to use it. Say you were actually quilting a placemat. If you quilt a placemat, that's a great time to actually practice quilting, or a hot pad. In fact, I've got the best hot pad pattern. I need to share it with you guys. So I'm going to go ahead and put this, I brought my ruler over, and remember, I'm putting in this tool in the back of your foot, okay? And I'm going to place it there at 2 inches from where the needle is, so that all of our quilting on this, it's going to be just straight lines 2 inches apart. Do you always quilt in the same direction? Yes, you want to quilt in the same direction. That way, and I'm going to just put a little bit of tape back there where I am putting that little arm, okay, that's measuring my 2 inches, so that way it won't shift around. Okay, so now I'm going to start over here. Oh, wait. Yes, you want to quilt the same direction, because as you quilt, your fabric is going to shift, and you don't want to shift it different directions. Okay, hold on, I've got to remeasure that. Let me put my needle down for a sec. Let me measure that, the 2 inches. Okay, we have a couple questions. Let me look at them. I'm going to bring that over so we're right about 2 inches. So there we go. Okay, and let's tighten this on here so it's going to stay in place right at that 2-inch mark. Okay, these are handy little items to use for keeping your quilt sandwich rolled up while running through the machine. Yes, are you putting those clamps on? Not essential, but helpful. And I do have some of those. I think I know where they are. I think they're in that one blue bag. Now, what I'm going to do with this little arm that we put on the sewing machine is it's going to run along the stitch that I just did over here. And then I'm putting my needle at that 2-inch mark over, because I've measured what that is. So I'm going to now start again, and I'm going to start quilting again. And then this way we're quilting equally with a 2-inch mark. So a tool similar to this should have come with your sewing machine. You might not have recognized what it is or known what that tool actually is. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and keep it. I've had a lot of sewing machines through the years, and usually that tool always comes with the sewing machines. Let me know if you don't, and we'll get creative, but it helps me run this along so that then I can, just have a nice straight line that's consistent with it. If you don't have that tool, what do you guys do? I don't know, but this is what I've always done because I have that tool. I'm not sure. Anyway, so yes, you always go the same direction. Let's see what other quilts. I quilt all my quilts on my DSM. It's a 33-year-old FAF. Okay, very good. Yes, the bicycle clips are what were originally used to hold these into circles. And you're right, it's not necessary, but it is helpful. So I'm going to just keep pushing this through. I definitely, for just a small wall hanging or a table runner, I'll appreciate just machine quilting it through. It's so nice to still have the domestic machine skills. The other thing I do is hot pads. We can also talk about free motion quilting on your domestic machine, which is a lot of fun to do. And whenever I started quilting, I actually filled up 2 bobbins. I may need more than that. And remember, we're stitching at a bigger quilt length. We're not using teeny tiny stitches. You're stitching at a bigger length, a bigger stitch length than you would when you're piecing your quilt. It's not necessary to have those really teeny tiny stitches on a quilt top. Okay, here we go. Now, remember when you're quilting, do people have any other questions? Let me know if you guys have questions. But when you're quilting, with the quality of batting that I buy, I actually can have about 4 inches. Let me show you that. You can have about 4 inches of a square space with the quality of batting that I buy that might not be quilted. And this is true. I have done this, especially when I was younger, and I was just pushing out quilts really fast for my kids. And I had spaces that are definitely 4 inches or sometimes a little bit larger. And my quilt batting has not torn up or bunched up in the center of that quilt. Because the reason why you quilt it is you want to have the back and the front and the batting stay stable as all the layers of your quilt sandwich. Okay, so there we go. It is terribly nice to have them long-armed, but you know, it's fun to quilt. I actually like it. I think it's therapeutic. Okay, so you can see my little quilt lines going down there. We could quilt this if we wanted to about 1 inch apart, but I don't think it's necessary for this quilt. This is going to be a casual quilt in my home, and I am looking forward. You could do 3 inches, but I'm looking forward to having this. I think it's going to be a wonderful quilt. I can't wait to snuggle with it with some hot chocolate and read a book, like a quilting magazine or a quilting book. I don't know. Or maybe I'll write you guys some patterns snuggled up in this quilt. I'm really looking forward to it. It's such a bright, cheery fabrics. So I really enjoyed the fabrics that I just loved these fabrics. The pattern that we use for this quilt is an easy modern half square triangle pattern. On day 1, you can find what we were using for that pattern, and you can go to my website, and it has the instructions for this quilt, which it's free, to actually make the quilt yourself, this actual quilt top. And I think that this is a good beginning quilting quilt top to do. It's not that overwhelming. You could make it smaller if you wanted to. A lap quilt or an accent quilt in your home is just really lovely. I have them all over the place. How do you guys use your quilts? You need to take a picture of me doing that, of this or the bicycle clips. Let's see here. Should we get a picture, Vanessa, of me quilting? Yeah, let's get a picture. Will you grab the DSLR? I put it somewhere on the desk. Okay, so I use my quilts everywhere in my house. What do you guys do? But my quilts are everywhere. They're on couches, they're on chairs, they're on walls. There's just a stack of them down in the entertainment room where my kids have like a projector screen and they watch movies and play games and stuff down there. There's And you guys, oh my gosh, the kids that have spent the night at our house, they all use these different quilts I've made through the years. And it was funny because their bodies would get bigger and bigger, and these quilts weren't big enough. So then they'd have to use 2 quilts when they spent the night. It was really cute. It was really cute. And all of these kids have got these memories. Okay, so one thing that we were thinking about doing was an I Spy quilt. And did you get it with the cameras in there too? It's kind of fun. You guys can see my little setup.
She said sitting drinking hot cocoa when done.
Oh, I will. I will take a picture of the sitting and drinking hot cocoa with this quilt. I definitely will. I can't wait. And then I want to share with you guys my recipe for homemade hot cocoa. I don't know if you guys really... I'm a hot cocoa person. I love hot chocolate. It's just like an indulging thing for me. But we don't have very much snow still in Utah. It's crazy. Okay, I'm going to put this right here. And you can always check and see if this is at the right length. And it's still at the right length, my little arm. I wonder what this arm is called.
I think she called it a quilting guide.
A quilting guide, yes. Mm-hmm. Okay, very good. So, all right, so let's go ahead and do the next one. And we're going to have this done along the way. So I stitched in the ditch on the first one. See how I'm stitching in the ditch, which is the seam right here. I stitched in the ditch of the first row, and then I am doing every 2 inches apart, then stitching. And so I'm on my 4th row of stitching, which you guys, we probably don't need to do that. Oh, but Vanessa, we could pick out some winners for today. So for those people that shared the video, you can go ahead and write share down in the video, and I'll have Vanessa pick out some winners. And then Vanessa, if you will write them down, then we'll go ahead and announce them. What did you say? I made some I Spy weighted quilts last year. You did? Robin, that is so cool. I would love to see pictures of those. I really would. I love I Spy quilts. But you did them weighted. What did you weight them down with? Wouldn't that be wonderful? To, some weighted blankets. Has anybody tried a weighted blanket? I actually have a 21-year-old son that has special needs. He's a disabled adult son. He's autistic, and then he has tumors throughout his body. So I'm now his legal guardian. Isn't that interesting? But years ago when he was little, they actually gave us a therapy weighted blanket, and he didn't like it. He didn't like to use it, but I did. I really liked it. I would sleep with it at night. Thank you for being on YouTube now. Okay, so good. We will definitely get that for you on YouTube. Okay, good. Thank you so much for doing that, because yes, you are my one loyal YouTube person. So when I do these videos, I do it live on YouTube, on Instagram, and Facebook. So we try to get winners on all the platforms. Anyways, so Robin, how did you do the weighted blankets? What did you use to weight your blankets? Did you use the plastic pellets, or what did you use? That would be really fun to make. I've always wanted to make weighted blankets. My husband's wanted me to make a weighted blanket too. I don't know. Anyways, I'd be curious to know if you use the pellets or what you use, like the plastic pellets. 4 pounds for a toddler. So she made it 4 pounds heavy for a toddler. And yeah, that's so fun, Robin. I'm excited about that. And look at that. Okay, so Vanessa's gonna...
How many?
Let's do 3 for Facebook, YouTube, and then Instagram. So
3 for Facebook?
Yep, 3 for Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. It's interesting. I can't see, because I get notifications that come through. Can't see everybody that's on there. I can see a lot of the comments. Okay, so what I'm going to do today is I'm going to finish quilting this quilt. And this is going to, but do you see how that looks so nice? Okay, I'm going to show you. I'm almost done. But it gives it such a nice look. And that yellow thread is so pretty on the colors that are there. So let me move my machine over. All right. All right, and remember, don't try to make everything perfect. You know what I mean? Perfect is not necessary. Okay, so here we are, and we're quilting this. Now, what I really love is after this is quilted, I did 4 runs of this through the sewing machine. So you can see this one I did right here is the stitch in the ditch. Okay, let me pull this down a little bit more. This one is the stitch in the ditch right along there. Okay, then I did this one right here, 2 inches apart, and I'm using that thing to help me measure. I did this one right here, and then I did this one right here. So that's 4 of them. And that took, let's look at the space. I'm curious how many runs I'll have to do the math. I'm curious how many runs it'll be to finish it. But that would be 10 inches across so far. But yeah, I'm curious. What is the diagonal of this? A 60 by 60? Vanessa, what would be the diagonal of that? Okay, yeah, it's really fast. And it's therapeutic too. You just made this beautiful quilt top. And it is so trendy and modern and in to just do straight lines on a quilt. It really is just so modern and trendy. You don't need to overthink it. You don't need to feel like you have to do all those feathers and those swirls and everything else. That's not what this is about. This is about making a quilt and making it so that it's functional and usable. And oh, it's so beautiful when it all washes up together and my batting's going to shrink, my front fabric is going to shrink, and my back fabric is all going to shrink together, and my thread, and it's all going to just look so gorgeous. So we'll have to do some pictures and things like that next week. I'll do some pictures before it's washed and then do some pictures after it's washed. Vanessa has the names. Okay. So we're going to go for our YouTube person. If you will email me or message me again in a way, because I think you know how to get a hold of me, and it's fun. She's the only one on YouTube that goes live. So if you ever want to watch them on YouTube, you've got a really good chance. So Facebook is Stacy Foster, Linda Bowery, and Gina Brunel Loop. So are you guys still on live? So those are the 3 that are on Facebook. And I saw some people shared this. Let's see here. Let's see. Oh, good. You guys, I'm so glad it didn't. Let's do Robin. Let's have Robin win. Robin Hill. So on Instagram. So Vanessa, I'm going to give this back to you.
Okay.
So what I need all of you guys to do is to send me, direct message me your addresses so I can ship this out. How many packages are we shipping today?
15.
We are shipping out 15 packages between the store orders and between all of the fun giveaways that we're giving out. So it's been a lot of fun. I love it. It's really a lot of fun. But we're going to have a Cricut Easy Press as a giveaway. I think next week we'll do a Cricut Easy Press. So, which is this right here. You guys have been seeing me use it. So Cricut just told me today that I can go ahead and do a Cricut Easy Press as a giveaway. Isn't that fun, you guys? Oh my gosh, I'm so excited for all of you guys. So next week, follow all of the videos and share them and do all of that. And then we'll announce a winner next Friday for the Cricut Easy Press. Won't that be so fun? I'm so excited. And then I've also got 10 yards of, or 15 yards of fabric. What is it? 12 yards of fabric to give away too. So we'll have, I don't know, we'll pace out all the big giveaways too. Anyway, so I just wanted to show you that. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to finish this quilt. I'm going to finish quilting it because you guys don't have to watch me do all of this. But I wanted to show you, Vanessa, I left it upstairs. It's, okay, you guys, I'm so excited about what we're doing that I keep carrying it around with me, okay? But it's in that little red bin upstairs. Do you mind? And then I wanted to show you guys another really cute thing that we've got, but I want to show you what we're going to do next week. This is a little Cupid doll. I don't know if you guys saw this yesterday. I need to just do a short video with it. But it's these darling little dolls that come with all of these things, and it's like a little Valentine's theme to it. But there is actually this kit that's available on my website. Maybe we'll have to do a big prize of one of these Cupid dolls sometime too. So we'll see. We'll figure it out. Anyway. anyway, so these are also for sale. I'll have to ask Vanessa what the price is. I don't remember. But you have a panel that comes in here with the Cupid doll. Riley Blake. Okay, good. So Vanessa, what we're going to do is we're going to actually make a quilt out of Amy Smart's Gingham Girl fabric. And it looks like this. And it comes as pre-cut. So I will have this kit available for you guys. And we're going to, it's just such a beautiful collection. I don't know if you can see the gorgeous colors. It's just so bright and happy. But I'll have a kit, and then I'll have kits so that you can actually make it with other fabrics too, other fabric collections, okay? And then we are going to use these squares. So these are pre-cut white fabric squares with a, this is a pre-cut, these are called layer cakes. They're 10 inches. But if you want to make it, this will make a twin size quilt. If you want to make a baby quilt, then I have it in 5-inch square size, okay? So we're gonna actually make, we're gonna pre-make these so you guys can see what the quilt looks like, but it's gonna be squares and triangles with the white and then these colors. It's gonna be so gorgeous. I can't wait to have it myself. So anyway, but we're gonna do it with those fabrics. But if you want something that's a little bit more themed, like sharks or something like that, that's what we're gonna be doing next week. And, but tomorrow I will have this finished and you guys can go ahead and see what this looks like tomorrow. But tomorrow I'm going to teach you how to put on the binding. And we all have different tips and tricks to binding. So I'm curious to find out. Tomorrow we can all share all of our different ideas that we have for binding and things like that. I am going to do maybe my binding with a red or with this yellow fabric. I haven't decided yet. I've got to go get that cut and that kind of stuff. Anyway, so, and you need 4 yards of fabric for your backing. That gives you some extra if you're going to have it long armed. If you long arm it, the long armor needs 4 extra inches on the back, the left and right side, and the top and the bottom side. So if you're not long arming it, that's a little bit more fabric than you need, but you'll have some extra fabric there. But you can push it through your domestic machine. Okay, so that's everything on how to quilt. I'm going to keep pushing these through, and you guys will see what it looks like tomorrow. We'll go ahead and see what it looks like after it's quilted. And then how do we find you on YouTube? Okay, so everywhere on all of the platforms, I'm Stitches Quilting. And actually, YouTube has just announced that they're changing their platform. I've been on YouTube since like 2007, like some really old videos on there. You guys, my very first video that I had the courage to do, I had my 7-year-old son videotape it for me because I was too embarrassed to ask anyone else to do the video for me, and like my husband or someone else. So my 7-year-old did it, but while he did it, he ate chips. He had chips or something. So he's filming it, and then he's like zooming in on my wedding ring, and he's zooming in on these cute little things. I've never taken it down. It's had so many views, but I've actually had some bad remarks on that one. I can't take it down because it was how I got courage to start filming and start being online. So, but okay, sorry, that's about YouTube. So with YouTube, you have to have 1,000 followers to keep maintaining to have ads on your videos as of in the next 30 days. So if anyone can follow me on YouTube, that would be awesome. Just follow me. You don't have to be on that platform all the time. But that would be really nice because I have like almost 700 followers in all of these years. I've never really pushed the YouTube platform very much. So anyways, that is kind of a summary for today. And I hope, so did the video not go yucky for Facebook? Did the video stay? That one I'm using my iPhone 10, which is new, but there's some little funky thing with the iPhone 10, but I'm hoping it's because it was just a little bit too long. So it didn't go out of focus on the iPhone 10, is that right? Let me know, give me some feedback. I love your comments and suggestions on my videos. I can handle anything. So I love it when people say, get to the point, start teaching us. You know, I can't handle this. You're too blabby. It's really cute. I love all the comments. So I love you guys tons. We are going to go and finish this up. We're going to do the binding tomorrow, and I'm gonna have a quilt finished, and you guys might have some more courage. I know some of you guys are actually working on your quilts because you're sending me pictures, and I love the pictures. But I want you to also post it on the Stitches Quilting Facebook page or on Instagram and tag me. I'll repost it and things like that. So it's really, really a lot of fun. So Dee Dee, I'm sorry this one's a little early for you, but you know what? You might not make this quilt till next week. You might get so excited about the quilt that we're making next week, you don't want to make this quilt. But I'll tell you what, I think that from watching this throughout the whole week, do you think you understand the concept of start to finish of a quilt? And you can see it's not that difficult of a process. It's not extremely intricate. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? That it's not super intricate. How do you guys feel about quilting now? And I'm just curious, you know, after seeing it from Monday through Thursday. Tomorrow we'll do the binding. But yes, Dee Dee, it is. It's simpler. Quilting is simpler than what you think. It's really straight lines on a sewing machine unless you do some applique and things like that. I am going to be doing the Lori Holt Let's Bake quilt. And I'll do 1 day a week on that quilt as a live video, and you'll learn some applique techniques in that video. So I'm going to do that. I'll do the first block sometime next week when it starts. So anyway, so I'm glad a lot of you guys can feel capable. Keep watching because you're going to learn some new techniques with each one of the different quilts that we work on each week, and maybe at the end of this year we'll have 52 finished quilts. Well, at least I will. I don't know, we'll see. Or some other projects, because we can do cosmetic bags, teach you how to do zippers, we can teach you how to do tons of different things. So make lots of comments of the kinds of things that you'd like to learn and to continue to learn. So anyways, I'll see you on the other side, and you guys have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow, and we're going to see this quilt finished, and we're going to see the binding on it too. And I love corresponding with all of you guys. So keep it up, and I can't wait to see you guys. So we'll see you guys tomorrow. See you on the other side. All right. Have a good day.